Respect isn't something you can beg for, demand, or buy. It's something you cultivate, brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. But here's the cold truth. Most of us are sabotaging that respect without even realizing it. We build walls with excuses, let laziness rob us of potential, and allow petty comparisons or gossip to eat away at our credibility. These toxic habits creep into our lives like rust, silently corroding our reputation, relationships, and sense of self. But there's good news. Every destructive habit can be replaced by one that strengthens you. When you let go of blaming others, take responsibility for your emotions, and quit the distractions of gossip and negativity, you don't just earn the respect of others. You start respecting yourself. And that is where the real power lies. This video isn't just a list of habits, it's a wake-up call. If you want to stop drifting through life and start commanding respect, watch until the end. Break free from what's holding you back and discover which shift will make the most impact for you. Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts, because change begins with conversation, and we want to hear yours. Number 1. Shifting blame instead of owning mistakes. Why do we point fingers when things go wrong? The truth is, the finger we point at others is often the same one we need to point at ourselves. I remember the moment it hit me, hard and unexpectedly. It was during a team meeting at work. We had just wrapped up a project, and things hadn't gone as planned. The deadlines were missed, the deliverables incomplete, and tension was high. When the manager asked what went wrong, I didn't even hesitate. The handoff from marketing wasn't clear, I said. They didn't give us the updated data on time. I felt a momentary sense of relief, thinking I had distanced myself from the blame. But as the meeting ended, I caught a glimpse of the marketing lead's face, disappointed but silent. And it struck me. I was doing exactly what I hated others doing to me, pushing the blame to someone else just to avoid accountability. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." I wasn't poor in effort or skill, but in that moment, I was poor in responsibility. I had traded honesty for the illusion of safety. The truth? I could have followed up with marketing earlier, clarified the deadlines, or taken a more proactive role. But instead of reflecting on what I could have done better, I chose to blame them. And that choice didn't just erode my colleagues' trust, it chipped away at my own self-respect. This is a dangerous pattern. Blaming others is like wearing a cracked mask. It may cover your flaws momentarily, but eventually, those cracks will show. People sense when you deflect accountability, and respect slips away, silently and steadily. Worse, you start to feel less in control of your own life, as if your failures are always someone else's fault. It reminded me of something Marcus Aurelius wrote: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." I couldn't control every aspect of the project, but I could control how I responded to the setback. Owning your mistakes is a form of strength. It means you refuse to hand over control to circumstances or other people. Instead, you reclaim your power by saying, "This is on me, and I'll do better." From that day forward, I made a conscious effort to own my actions. It wasn't easy. The next time I was late on a task, I felt the familiar urge to blame something: traffic, emails, or someone not responding quickly enough. But I caught myself. I took a breath and admitted to my manager, "I didn't manage my time well this week. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again." It stung. But you know what? It also felt freeing. There was strength in facing the truth, even when it was uncomfortable. Blaming others might give you temporary relief, but it costs you respect, both from others and from yourself. Each time you shift the blame, you weaken your credibility. But when you own your mistakes, people notice. They trust you more because honesty, even in failure, commands respect. The Stoics teach us that our response is always within our control. You may not be able to prevent every failure, but you can control how you handle it. Start small. The next time something goes wrong, whether it's missing a deadline or forgetting to meet a friend, pause. Instead of pointing fingers, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? The answer might be uncomfortable, but that's where growth begins. Respect isn't earned by being perfect. It's earned by being accountable. And it starts with a choice. Will you dodge responsibility, or will you embrace it? Owning your mistakes is not a weakness. It's a quiet, powerful declaration that you are in control of your life. And when you begin to live that way, respect, both from others and from within, naturally follows. Number 2, laziness and delaying tasks. How much time are you willing to waste waiting for the perfect moment to act? As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. I'll never forget a conversation I had with some friends at the beach. We were catching up about our personal projects and goals. One of my friends proudly shared that she had finally started learning a new language after years of procrastinating. Then they turned to me. "So, how's that vlog you've been talking about?" I felt a knot in my stomach. I hadn't even begun. For months, I had spoken about starting a vlog, planning episodes, researching equipment, and watching tutorials. But despite all that preparation, I hadn't recorded a single second. I always found reasons to put it off. The lighting wasn't right, I needed more time to learn editing, or I wasn't in the right headspace. I was waiting for the perfect conditions. Conditions that never came. Procrastination had quietly anchored me in place, and each passing day chipped away at my motivation and confidence. The dream of creating something slowly turned into frustration, like a storm cloud gathering over my mind, making the task feel even more impossible. Laziness isn't just about doing nothing. It's the habit of delaying what matters. It's the little voice that says, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll start when things are perfect." But here's the harsh truth. Tomorrow never comes, and perfection is an illusion. The more we delay, the more our potential slips away, unnoticed, but not without consequence. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Every day you put things off is a day you won't get back. Laziness and procrastination don't just waste time, they waste opportunity. And with every task you push to tomorrow, you're silently telling yourself, "I'm not capable today." The problem is, others start to see that too. When you don't follow through, people stop trusting you. And worse, you stop trusting yourself. That realization hit me hard that day at the beach. I realized that my procrastination wasn't harmless. It was eroding my self-respect and damaging how others saw me. No one respects someone who talks a lot but never acts. Respect comes from action, not intention. From that moment on, I knew I had to change. When I got home, I decided that waiting for perfect conditions was no longer an option. I grabbed my phone, propped it up on a stack of books, and hit record. The first vlog wasn't polished. It had awkward moments, poor lighting, and a lot of stammering, but it was done, and that's what mattered. I had taken action, and in doing so, I had broken the cycle of procrastination. Here's the thing. Laziness is like a snowball rolling downhill. The longer it goes unchecked, the harder it is to stop. It starts small, delaying one task today, then another tomorrow. Before you know it, you've lost momentum entirely. Every delay adds to the weight of inaction, making the mountain seem steeper and the climb harder. The only way to escape this trap is to act now. Don't wait for the stars to align. Start with what you have, even if it's imperfect. If you want to create a vlog, film a short clip today, even if it's only 30 seconds. If you need to exercise, do 10 push-ups. The secret is that small actions create momentum, and momentum kills procrastination. The Stoics teach us that the only thing within our control is the present moment. Stop waiting for the perfect day. It doesn't exist, and each time you delay, you're letting laziness steal another piece of your potential. But when you act, even imperfectly, you regain control. With each task completed, no matter how small, you build self-trust. And as you prove to yourself that you can act, others will start to respect you too. Looking back, that first vlog wasn't perfect, but it was the most important one I ever made. It taught me a lesson I'll carry for life. Respect is earned not by dreaming, but by doing. Stop delaying. Start small. Take action today and watch as the heavy cloud of procrastination lifts, clearing the way for your potential to shine. Number 3, ignoring how you present yourself. What message are you sending before you even speak? As Epictetus said, know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. Picture this. You're heading into a crucial client meeting at your firm, and you can feel the buzz of anticipation in the air. You've spent hours crafting the perfect presentation, meticulously detailing every slide, But as you prepare to walk into the room, you catch a glimpse of yourself in the reflection of the glass door. You're dressed in a wrinkled blazer, a casual t-shirt, and sneakers. In that moment, a question surfaces. What are you really communicating? As you enter the meeting, you notice the client's expressions. There's a subtle shift, a flicker of skepticism in their eyes. You launch into your presentation, your voice steady and knowledgeable, but the doubt lingers. They seem more focused on your appearance than on your expertise. By the time the meeting wraps up, you sense that you've lost them. Later, you receive an email saying they've decided to go with a competitor. The sting of rejection isn't just about losing a client. It's the realization that your careless presentation may have influenced their decision. In our fast-paced world, we often assume that our skills and knowledge are all that matters. But the truth is, how you present yourself is often the first impression you make. That wrinkled blazer? It isn't just an oversight. It's a signal that you didn't invest the effort to prepare. And this applies to more than just business. It reflects how you value yourself and the opportunity at hand. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you neglect your appearance, it indicates a lack of respect for the situation and for yourself. The Stoics understood that how you show up can set the tone for how you're perceived. Your appearance is not merely about vanity. It's about taking pride in who you are and what you do. Consider this. The next time you're preparing for an important event, whether it's a job interview, a client meeting, or even a casual dinner, take a moment to reflect on your presentation. What message do you want to send? Is it one of professionalism and readiness? You don't need to wear the most expensive suit. It's about showing that you care enough to put thought into how you present yourself. If you often find yourself dismissing how you look, I challenge you. Tomorrow, take a few extra minutes to choose your outfit thoughtfully. Iron that shirt, polish those shoes, and pay attention to the details. This might seem like a small effort, but the impact can be profound. You'll notice that as you start to care about your appearance, your confidence grows, and those around you will respond positively. Your appearance is like a handshake. It's the first impression you give, and it sets the tone for everything that follows. It may seem trivial, but remember, the small things matter. They build up. Just like developing a skill or managing your emotions, cultivating the habit of caring for your appearance fosters self-discipline, ultimately earning you respect. The lesson here is straightforward. Respect starts with you. When you present yourself in a way that reflects self-respect, you'll find that others will respond in kind. So ask yourself, what story does your appearance tell? Is it one of confidence and professionalism? If not, it's time to change that narrative. Because respect isn't handed out freely. It's built, piece by piece, through every intentional choice you make. Number 4, disrespecting personal boundaries. Why do we often struggle to recognize the boundaries of others? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Imagine a vibrant neighborhood block party where everyone gathers to socialize, enjoy good food, and share laughter. Amid the festivities, a friend of yours, Alex, takes it upon himself to engage everyone in deep, personal conversations. Initially, people appreciate his enthusiasm, but as the evening wears on, he starts to pry into their personal lives, asking about their relationships, finances, and even health issues, without any sense of discomfort or hesitation. As you watch, you can see the discomfort on their faces. Their smiles fade, replaced by awkward glances. They're trapped between wanting to maintain the festive atmosphere and feeling their boundaries being violated. By the end of the night, several people had retreated to quieter corners, seeking refuge from Alex's relentless questioning. What was meant to be an enjoyable gathering had turned sour for many, thanks to a blatant disregard for personal boundaries. You can't help but wonder, why do some people fail to recognize when they've crossed a line? In that moment, it became clear that Alex's behavior wasn't just socially inappropriate. It was a significant barrier to earning respect. Disrespecting personal boundaries tells others that their feelings and privacy are secondary to your curiosity or need for connection. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of what it means to be in community with others. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In a world where it's all too easy to become wrapped up in our own perspectives, recognizing and respecting the boundaries of others is an essential practice. We must remember that everyone has their limits, and these limits are as important as our own. When we fail to listen, when we push too far, we risk alienating those around us. For those who find themselves overstepping boundaries, it's time to reflect. When did your curiosity become more important than someone else's comfort? Instead of digging for details, consider this. How can I create a space where others feel safe to share if they choose to do so? It starts with listening more and speaking less. By practicing active listening, you honor the experiences of those around you, allowing them to set the pace of the conversation. If you want to cultivate respect in your relationships, begin with these simple yet effective actions. Practice mindfulness. Before entering conversations, take a moment to consider what the other person may or may not want to share. This mental check-in can help you gauge the appropriateness of your questions. Be attentive to nonverbal cues. Pay attention to body language. If someone appears uncomfortable or shifts the topic, take the hint and respect their space. Encourage openness, not pressure. Instead of prying, create a safe environment where people feel comfortable sharing on their terms. Ask open-ended questions that allow for an easy exit if they prefer not to engage deeply. Set boundaries for yourself. Just as you respect others' boundaries, communicate your own clearly. It sets a precedent for mutual respect. Boundaries are like the lines drawn on a map. They define our personal space and comfort zones. Crossing them without permission can lead to a loss of trust and respect. When we ignore the invisible lines that others have set, we risk isolating ourselves from meaningful relationships. The lesson is clear. Respecting personal boundaries isn't just a courtesy, it's essential for building and maintaining respect in any relationship. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, remember that true connection is built on mutual respect. Embrace the art of listening, and you will find that respect flourishes in the spaces where boundaries are honored. Number 5. Taking credit for others' work. What does it mean to be truly successful? As Aristotle once said, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Yet too often, we lose sight of this truth in our quest for recognition. Let me take you back to a pivotal moment in my career, a time when I faced a difficult lesson about integrity and respect. I was part of a team working on a high-stakes project for a key client. The pressure was on, and we all knew this pitch could make or break our reputation. One of my colleagues, Jamie, had been tirelessly refining the presentation. I watched as Jamie spent long nights crafting the perfect slides, ensuring every detail aligned with the client's expectations. As the presentation day approached, I felt the weight of my own ambitions pressing down on me. I was eager to make a name for myself, to stand out in the eyes of both my colleagues and the client. When the day finally came, I stood before our audience with Jamie, who was ready to present our hard work. But as Jamie began to speak, I felt a wave of insecurity wash over me. I could see an opportunity to shine, and in a moment of weakness, I subtly shifted the narrative to highlight my own contributions. I didn't outright lie, but I framed the story to emphasize my role while downplaying Jamie's efforts. I basked in the praise that followed, feeling a rush of validation as the client expressed admiration for our work. For a brief moment, I felt invincible. However, deep down, a nagging discomfort began to brew within me. I could see the look of disappointment on Jamie's face as they absorbed the situation. It hit me like a punch to the gut. I had crossed a line. As the days passed, the initial thrill of recognition faded, replaced by a growing sense of dread. Jamie approached me, hurt and confused, asking why I hadn't given credit where it was due. That moment forced me to confront the reality of my actions. I had sacrificed trust and respect for a fleeting moment of glory. I felt small and ashamed. The admiration I had sought turned sour as I realized the damage I had done, not just to Jamie, but to my own integrity. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which depends on the future." I had been focused on my own expectations for success, forgetting that true respect comes from authenticity and collaboration. Taking credit for someone else's work is not merely unethical, it's a betrayal of the very values that underpin genuine relationships. Reflecting on that experience, I realized that when you take credit for another's effort, you're essentially saying, "I don't trust my own abilities." It was a wake-up call. I learned that relying on others' hard work diminishes not only their sense of accomplishment, but also my own self-respect. Every time I tried to overshadow someone else's contributions, I was chipping away at my credibility and moral standing. The damage this habit can inflict is profound. Colleagues and friends began to see me differently. Trust eroded, and I found myself isolated as people became wary of collaborating with someone who couldn't be trusted to share the spotlight. It was a painful realization, but it motivated me to change. If you've ever found yourself in a similar situation, here's what I recommend. Take a moment to reflect on your actions. If you've taken credit for someone else's work, own up to it. Apologize sincerely to those affected, and commit to giving credit where it's due in the future. This doesn't mean you should downplay your contributions. Rather, it's about celebrating the achievements of others while also recognizing your role. True success is built on the foundation of respect and collaboration, not on the backs of others' efforts. So let's embrace a mindset that lifts everyone up instead of pushing them down. As you move forward in your career, remember that your reputation is your most valuable asset. Protect it by being the kind of person who acknowledges the hard work of those around you. In the end, the choice is clear. Be the individual who thrives through authenticity and integrity. Celebrate the contributions of others, and you'll find that respect and admiration follow naturally. The road to success isn't a solo journey. It's a collective effort, and when you uplift those around you, you not only earn their trust, you also cultivate a legacy of genuine respect that will last a lifetime. Number 6, losing control of your emotions. How do our emotions shape the way we are perceived? As Lao Tzu once said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." Consider a scenario in a bustling office environment. It's Monday morning and a crucial meeting is scheduled to discuss the upcoming product launch. You're excited but also nervous, as you've poured countless hours into this project. As the meeting progresses, a colleague named Sam offers critical feedback on your presentation. Initially, you try to remain composed, but as Sam continues to dissect your ideas, your patience begins to wear thin. A surge of frustration wells up inside you, and before you know it, you find yourself raising your voice in defense. In that moment, as your words echo through the room, you can see the expressions of your teammates shift. What began as a constructive discussion has now morphed into a tense confrontation. Instead of fostering collaboration, you've turned the atmosphere cold and uncomfortable. The immediate satisfaction of standing your ground fades quickly, replaced by a heavy realization that your inability to manage your emotions has cost you the respect of your colleagues. Being emotionally reactive is one of the most detrimental habits you can adopt if you wish to be respected. It goes beyond merely reacting with anger. It encompasses allowing your feelings to dictate your actions, words, and decisions. When others witness your inability to control your emotions, they're less likely to trust you with responsibility, leadership, or even meaningful friendships. Why? Because emotional reactivity signals instability and unpredictability, qualities that inherently evoke distrust. I've been in the trenches of emotional turmoil myself. There was a time when I let my feelings govern my responses to criticism. Instead of reflecting on feedback, I would sulk for hours or lash out defensively, much like a child throwing a tantrum. I thought I was defending myself, but in reality, I was only highlighting my own lack of emotional control. Looking back, it's almost embarrassing to think how little I understood the impact of my reactions on those around me. As Aristotle articulated, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. This wisdom underscores the importance of mastering our emotions rather than allowing them to master us. The individuals we admire are often those who remain calm under pressure, who handle criticism with grace, and who navigate stress without unraveling. They embody true strength. In contrast, when you're prone to emotional outbursts, you send the opposite message. that your feelings are in charge, not your rational mind. This often results in colleagues and friends keeping their distance, wary of provoking an emotional reaction. The deeper truth is that emotional reactivity often stems from insecurity. When faced with criticism or stress, our instinct is to protect our fragile ego. But what we fail to realize is that fragility, when expressed through overreactions, only invites pity, not respect. People will begin to view you as a burden, someone they must tiptoe around, rather than a strong, reliable presence. I recall a time when I worked alongside a manager who exemplified emotional reactivity. During team meetings, any form of dissent or challenge to her ideas resulted in explosive reactions. It was like navigating a minefield. Colleagues became hesitant to voice their thoughts, fearing backlash. This manager, despite her intelligence and talent, gradually found herself excluded from key discussions, as people lost faith in her ability to handle feedback constructively. The unfortunate truth was that her emotional instability overshadowed her capabilities, and her career trajectory suffered as a result. Being emotionally reactive not only undermines your authority, it diminishes your potential. You might believe that displaying strong emotions is a sign of passion, but in reality, it showcases a lack of self-governance. Think back to moments when you witnessed someone lose control, whether through anger, tears, or frustration. Did you respect them for it? Likely not. You probably felt a mixture of discomfort and sympathy. That's the kind of perception you create when you allow your emotions to dictate your behavior. So, how do we combat this tendency? The Stoics taught that while we cannot control external events, we can always control our internal response. This is the essence of personal power. When you feel emotions rising, take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, reflect before you react. Identify triggers. Be aware of the situations or comments that tend to provoke strong emotional responses. Recognizing your triggers can help you prepare and manage your reactions in the future. Practice mindfulness. Engage in mindfulness techniques, such as meditation or journaling, to help cultivate emotional resilience. These practices can ground you, providing clarity during stressful moments. Reframe criticism. When receiving feedback, instead of viewing it as a personal attack, consider it an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This shift in mindset can help reduce emotional reactivity. Maintain composure. True strength lies in maintaining your composure even when faced with adversity. When you can stay calm during conflict, others will perceive you as a dependable leader. The journey toward earning respect hinges not just on your actions, but on how you manage your emotional responses. By practicing self-control, you not only foster respect, but also gain mastery over your circumstances. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics and commit to mastering your emotions, for true power lies in your ability to respond thoughtfully amidst the chaos. When you achieve this, you cultivate not just respect from others, but also a deep-seated respect for yourself. Number 7. Measuring yourself against others. Why do we often fall into the trap of comparison? As Theodore Roosevelt famously said, comparison is the thief of joy. Picture yourself at a gathering in a local cafe, surrounded by friends who are sharing their achievements. One friend just got a promotion, another is about to buy their first home, and yet another has just completed a marathon. As you listen, you start to feel a knot in your stomach. Thoughts swirl in your mind. Why haven't I achieved more? Am I falling behind? What's wrong with me? In that moment, the joy of celebrating your friend's successes becomes overshadowed by a creeping sense of inadequacy. This experience is all too familiar for many of us. We tend to measure our worth against the accomplishments of others, leading us down a path of discontent and self-doubt. In that cafe, instead of feeling happy for my friends, I found myself lost in a comparison game, one that only served to diminish my self-esteem. Each success they shared felt like a reminder of my perceived shortcomings. The Stoics understood the futility of comparison. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom serves as a reminder that our happiness should not depend on the achievements of others. When we measure ourselves against our peers, we relinquish our power and allow external circumstances to dictate our self-worth. The truth is, comparing ourselves to others can be a self-destructive habit. It clouds our perception, making us forget the unique paths we each walk. While one friend might be thriving in their career, another might be overcoming personal challenges that we know nothing about. The highlight reels we see in others' lives often hide the struggles and setbacks they face behind closed doors. Reflecting on my own life, I realized that I had spent far too long focusing on what others were achieving rather than appreciating my own journey. I remembered a time when I was envious of a colleague who seemed to be excelling in every project. Instead of recognizing the effort I had put into my own work, I became fixated on their success. This mindset not only clouded my judgment, but also stunted my growth. I was so busy measuring myself against them that I overlooked my own accomplishments. So, how can we break free from this damaging habit? Here are a few actionable steps you can take. Practice gratitude. Shift your focus from comparison to appreciation. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. This can help you acknowledge your own successes and the good in your life, no matter how small. Limit social media consumption. Social media can amplify feelings of inadequacy as we often see curated versions of others' lives. Set boundaries around your usage or take breaks altogether to refocus on your own life. Set personal goals. Instead of measuring your worth against others, set your own goals based on your values and desires. Focus on what you want to achieve and track your progress, celebrating each milestone, no matter how small. Embrace your unique journey. Understand that everyone's path is different. Instead of looking at others as benchmarks, view them as inspiration. Recognize that your experiences, skills, and challenges are uniquely yours, and that's what makes your journey valuable. Engage in self-reflection. Spend time evaluating your strengths and accomplishments. Acknowledge the skills and talents that set you apart, and remind yourself that your worth isn't contingent on others' successes. In the end, the act of measuring yourself against others is like trying to compare apples and oranges. It's a futile endeavor. Everyone has their own unique strengths, weaknesses, and timelines. The key to earning respect, both from others and yourself, lies in focusing on your personal growth and honoring your journey. By cultivating self-acceptance and reframing the way you view success, you not only free yourself from the shackles of comparison, but also foster a greater sense of inner peace and fulfillment. When you stop looking at others for validation, you'll discover that true happiness comes from within. Embrace your individuality and watch as respect from yourself and others grows. Number 8. Engaging in gossip and rumors. Why do we indulge in gossip? As Plato once said, the greatest wealth is to live content with little. Yet gossip often leads us to crave more than we truly need. Imagine a small, peaceful pond. It's serene, reflecting the sky above. But when a stone is thrown in, ripples spread, disturbing the calm surface. The gossip we engage in acts much like that stone. It disrupts the tranquility of relationships and environments, creating chaos that can linger long after the initial act. Picture this. You're at a workplace lunch, and a few colleagues gather around the table. The conversation starts innocently enough, but soon it takes a sharp turn. One person shares a rumor about a coworker's recent struggles. At first, it feels like harmless chatter. After all, we're just sharing news, right? However, as the conversation continues, the tone shifts. The gossip morphs into speculation, judgment, and negative comments. The initial ripple of conversation grows into a tidal wave of negativity, creating a toxic atmosphere that affects everyone present. We often know that gossip and rumors are harmful, yet they can sneak into our conversations, especially when someone is curious or directly asking for information. In those moments, we might unintentionally share something that contributes to the cycle of gossip. As the gossip spreads, it not only tarnishes the reputation of the person being discussed, but also reflects poorly on those who engage in the conversation. When people see you participating in gossip, they may wonder what you say about them when they're not around. The Stoics taught us the importance of character and integrity. Seneca once remarked, "He who is a great man, yet not a good man, is no good at all." Engaging in gossip is not just a momentary lapse. It reveals a lack of respect for others and a weakness in one's character. It's easy to slip into the habit of gossiping. It feeds our desire for connection and drama, but at what cost? When we indulge in these conversations, even accidentally, we compromise our values and the respect others have for us. So, how can we break free from this detrimental habit? Here are a few actionable steps to consider. Be mindful of your words. Before you speak, ask yourself if what you're about to say adds value or promotes negativity. Is it true? Is it kind? If not, it's better to remain silent. Redirect the conversation. If you find yourself in a gossiping situation, steer the conversation toward more positive topics. Share an uplifting story or highlight someone's achievements rather than tearing them down. Set boundaries. Be clear with friends and colleagues that you don't engage in gossip. It's okay to communicate your values and express your discomfort with negative discussions about others. Try to view the situation from the perspective of the person being discussed. Consider how you would feel if you were in their shoes. This shift in perspective can help curb the impulse to gossip. Encourage positivity. Foster an environment that celebrates others' successes and encourages collaboration rather than competition. When positivity is the norm, gossip naturally diminishes. Remember, gossip may provide a fleeting thrill, but it comes at the cost of respect and trust. Just as the pond returns to its calm state after the ripples settle, we must strive to create a peaceful environment where respect thrives. By consciously choosing to avoid gossip, we not only protect our integrity, but also contribute to a healthier, more supportive community. In conclusion, engaging in gossip and spreading rumors may seem trivial, but the impact is profound. It tarnishes reputations, erodes trust, and reflects poorly on our own character. Even when conversations veer into gossip unintentionally, it's essential to be vigilant and redirect them. As you move forward, let the metaphor of the pond guide you. Choose your words wisely, cultivate an atmosphere of respect, and prioritize integrity in all your interactions. The path to earning respect lies in lifting others up, not tearing them down. Number 9. Constant negativity and complaints. Why is it that the more we complain, the worse things seem to become? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Imagine a dark cloud that follows you wherever you go. It looms overhead, casting a shadow on everything you experience, no matter how bright the day might be for everyone else. That cloud is your constant negativity, and every time you complain, it grows heavier, dimming the light of any situation you encounter. The people around you may try to offer solutions or optimism, but as long as you carry that cloud, it feels like no amount of sunshine can break through. Let's take this into a real-world scenario. You're at a coffee shop, meeting up with a group of friends. The mood is light, everyone's sharing stories and laughing. But you can't help but focus on what's wrong. How the coffee wasn't brewed to your liking, how your day at work was frustrating, how the weather ruined your plans. Before long, the conversation takes a different tone. Your friends, who were once full of energy, are now quieter, their enthusiasm dimmed by the weight of your complaints. What started as a joyful gathering has now become clouded with negativity. Constant negativity and complaining don't just affect the person doing it, they affect everyone around them. When people repeatedly hear complaints, they begin to associate you with that negativity. Over time, they start avoiding you, not because they don't care, but because they're drained by the constant barrage of complaints. They may even stop taking you seriously, thinking, if everything is a problem, is anything really that bad? In the world of Stoicism, the focus is on accepting what we cannot control and taking responsibility for our internal state. Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Complaining is a habit that focuses our attention on the external world, things we cannot change, and in doing so, it magnifies our suffering. Rather than looking for solutions or accepting circumstances as they are, we indulge in the comfort of blaming, venting, and resisting reality. But here's the harsh truth. Nobody respects someone who constantly complains. Why? Because complaining doesn't solve anything. It's a passive response to life's challenges. It signals that you're not taking ownership of your situation, that you'd rather dwell on the problem than work towards a solution. Over time, this habit erodes the respect others have for you, Because people respect those who face adversity with strength and composure, not with complaints. So how do you break free from the trap of negativity and complaints? Here are some practical steps you can implement. The next time you feel the urge to complain, pause and ask yourself, what's within my control? Focus on what you can change and accept the rest. This shift in mindset helps you move from victimhood to agency. Gratitude practice. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. By focusing on what's good in your life, you train your brain to see the positive instead of the negative. Over time, this habit helps reduce the impulse to complain. Limit complaints to solutions. If you must complain, make it productive. For every complaint you voice, immediately follow it with a potential solution. This not only shifts the focus to action, but also helps you regain control over the situation. Surround yourself with positivity. Evaluate the company you keep. If you're surrounded by people who constantly complain, you're more likely to fall into that pattern as well. Surround yourself with those who lift you up and encourage you to see the good in life. Mind your words. Pay attention to how often you complain, even about small things. The weather, slow traffic, or a minor inconvenience can all be fuel for negativity. Instead, practice reframing your thoughts. Instead of saying, "This weather is terrible," say, "I'll make the most of today despite the weather." Complaints are like pebbles in a shoe. They may seem small at first, but if you keep walking with them, they'll wear you down and affect your journey. The key to earning respect is in how you choose to navigate challenges, not in how often you point them out. People admire those who maintain their composure in adversity, who focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. In conclusion, constant negativity and complaints are habits that not only diminish your own happiness, but also push others away. The Stoics teach us that we can control how we respond to life's inevitable difficulties. Instead of letting your mind be clouded by complaints, take control of your thoughts and actions. Cultivate gratitude, seek solutions, and practice resilience. When you do, you'll find that not only do you gain the respect of others, but you also begin to respect yourself more deeply. Respect is built through consistent actions, rooted in integrity and self-discipline. Eliminating toxic habits allows you to grow, strengthen relationships, and earn the trust of those around you. As you improve yourself, you'll inspire others and unlock a version of yourself that commands genuine respect. What habits are you working to change? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, like, and share this video with friends and family who might benefit from it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.